Hi, my name is Jared James. I am a leader of our SOC practice here at Moss Adams, and I'm joined by Josh Deitch.
I'm Josh Deitch and also work in our IT risk advisory and compliance group and focus on SOC reporting as well. And to start off, we're going to go through this disclosure. The material appearing in this presentation is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as advice of any kind, including without limitation, legal, accounting, or investment advice. This information is not intended to create, and receipt does not constitute a legal relationship, including but not limited to an accountant-client relationship. Although this information may have been prepared by professionals, it should not be used as a substitute for professional services. If legal, accounting, investment, or other professional advice is required, the services of a professional should be sought. All right, and we're going to be talking about SOC for supply chain reports. And with the current environment and technology allowing companies to shift risk within the supply chain through the addition of automation, additional connectivity, and globalization, this has resulted in a lot more complex and sophisticated supply chains. The SOC for supply chain is a way to demonstrate compliance and gain confidence around internal controls. Similar to the other SOC reports, this is referring to a system and organization controls report for supply chain specifically. And it contains the independent opinion of a service auditor on the design, implementation, and operating effectiveness of a company's internal controls. It's a good way to provide your vendors, suppliers, and production and manufacturing and distribution companies to communicate controls over manufacturing, production, and those distribution systems to your partners and customers. The layout of the SOC for supply chain report is broken into 4 sections, and the first one being the auditor's opinion. So the auditor's opinion would be of management system description and design, and the operational effectiveness of the internal controls scoped into the report. Management, their assertion is next, and that's of its system description and responsibility for the design and operation of the internal controls. And then next you would have management's description, and this is more of where the system is laid out, and the narrative would be a larger description of what would be in scope for the examination and would include manufacturing, production, or distribution system. And then lastly, the presentation of management's controls. And this would also include how it's mapped to the AICPA's trust service criteria and the service auditor's test procedures and conclusions on the design and operating effectiveness of those controls would be included within that portion of the report. And why one would get a SOC for supply chain examination. The primary benefits would really be coming down to the ability to reduce the due diligence effort, where you may be getting a lot of requests for gathering information, performing site visit audits, completing questionnaires, or having a third-party assessment. The SOC report does a lot of that, and it supports and supplies a lot of that information to those vendors or customers that are requesting that type of information.
Great. So one of the reasons why the AICPA has come out with the SOC for supply chain, in addition to the other suite of SOC reports, is to really help an organization's customers or clients achieve key supply chain objectives. And so what we see these reports doing is establishing a common set of criteria for disclosure about a company's manufacturing, production, or distribution system. And it creates this common set of criteria for assessing the effectiveness of controls and design of those controls. And so by establishing this common set of reporting, it can allow an organization to really assess the risk in doing business with specific vendors or other types of organizations. Another thing that these reports are really aimed at doing is reducing required communication between organizations related to information about their manufacturing, production, or distribution systems. You can get a lot of that information just directly through the report itself, as Josh was describing in that management description section. It also provides a standard for communicating relevant information without being required to disclose trade secrets, patents, or other intellectual property. Again, through that system description, there could be great information about your organization and how you handle risk without maybe disclosing some of those key parts of your business that are confidential. And then finally, in kind of theme here, it helps maintain a standard for organizations when comparing vendors or suppliers. It really helps you look at apples to apples rather than apples to oranges when you are considering partnering with a various organization that might be part of your supply chain. So next, we want to talk about who should pursue a SOC for supply chain. Generally, the SOC for supply chain examination, there's really kind of two distinct entity types that this report would be very applicable to. The first group being manufacturing, production, or distribution companies that might be required by a customer or other organization to get a SOC for supply chain. If you are a key vendor as someone else's supply chain, they could be requesting that you get this type of examination and report done. The second is that any vendors or suppliers that are deemed an important part of an organization's supply chain, if you could cause disruptions in their operations, or if there would be, any ability to leak confidential information as part of the supply chain for another organization. In both these instances, we see that a customer or partnering organization could request a SOC for supply chain to determine whether that partnership introduces risks to their own operations as part of doing business with that organization. And then finally, who can issue a SOC 4 supply chain report? Similarly to all the other SOC reports, these must be issued by a licensed certified public accountant or CPA. It has to be prepared in accordance with the rules and regulations set forth by the AICPA. Now, when you're selecting an auditor to help you get through a SOC examination, it's important to think about the reputation and market reputation and market recognition of that service auditor. This can be an important thing as you are looking to issue a SOC report. There could be instances where if you have a SOC report done by maybe an unreputable vendor, those organizations that are consuming that report might question, and they might have additional requests for information based on the reputability of that service auditor being used. Someone who's taking a collaborative approach and really helping design a control set and helping you understand where your key risks are within the SOC 2 criteria becomes really important. So that really this SOC for supply chain is a tailored control set to you and your organization and not a one-size-fits-all type audit. Having a relationship-driven experience with your service auditor rather than just a transactional approach is important as you look to partner with somebody to help you meet your compliance needs. In addition, really having a service auditor that has deep technical knowledge that can understand your environment and understand the controls and risks that need to be mitigated as part of your operations. And then finally, one that's experienced and proven, a service auditor that works with SOC reports on a very regular basis and can really guide you and help you avoid the pitfalls or other issues that might arise as you undergo a SOC examination is extremely important. So that's our presentation today on SOC for supply chain. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Josh or myself, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
All right, thank you.